At a creature effects workshop in Hollywood, California, something has escaped. This animatronic abomination is a danger to anyone in its path. The only way to stop it wreaking havoc in the city, to distract it with movie news, discussion, and reviews. Moviesaurus Rex!
Hello and welcome to the Moviesaurus Rex podcast with your host Hooch
And Tom.
and Tom. Today we're going to do something a bit different. Rather than do movie talk and news, we're just going to do movie talk because it's
no news.
It's a bit of a slow news week in the old world of film.
As far as we know, we might have missed something major. But
I mean, sure, yeah.
I don't think there has been.
But that would require us doing some research rather than just chatting about shit that we've seen recently.
And winging it.
Yeah, exactly. And, you know, we've just had lunch. We're a bit tired. And this is free. So what do you want from us, basically? So, yeah, we're just going to talk about shit that we've seen recently.
Mm.
Well, not shit, but films.
Mm.
Do you want to
Yeah.
go first?
I'll start.
Go on, then.
The Conjuring 2.
You saw Conjuring 2? Okay.
Last night. It was scary, which is always good for a horror film.
Well, yeah, you'd hope so,
You'd want
wouldn't
that.
you?
But also, I thought it was actually a really good film.
Okay,
Much
so
like the first one.
I haven't seen the first one.
Mm.
So what is The Conjuring?
Okay. So it's based on the true life cases
right,
of Ed and... Oh, shit. Ed and... What's she called? And Lorraine Warren.
Okay.
So there's some paranormal investigators, I guess you want to call them, but they're
Based on a true story.
based on a true story. On their real life cases.
Okay.
I think she's still alive, Lorraine. I don't know. Anyway, so it's based on their cases. They are hired in, if you will, by the church to investigate certain things.
Okay.
So the first one was... I can't actually remember because I saw that only in the cinema. But they go to a house, shit goes wrong. Conjuring 2, same sort of deal, but it's in Enfield, the English Amityville, apparently.
Oh, it's set in England?
Yeah, this one's the Enfield. You know the Enfield haunting?
No.
It's if you Google it,
Right.
it was like massive back in the day, like in the 70s.
Okay.
But it was known as the English Amityville horror.
Right.
Again, based on true story. We don't know how true. There was rumours at the time that she was faking it, the kid.
It was an exorcism type thing.
Well,
Or a poltergeist sort of thing.
it's kind of a mixed sort of thing. There's things move, so like chairs and stuff. She does get possessed only through like sort of speech. So
You talk through her.
yeah, what it is I don't want to say too much because it is new, but
Are you talking about... What
this is the second one. Sorry, I'm talking about the
Right.
second one.
So the first one is... The first film is like...
I can't remember the first one. It was good. It was really scary, but I can't remember the deal with it. It was like
Is
a
this-
family that was targeted by a demonic sort of possession.
A bit like Insidious.
Yeah, but they don't go into the dream world sort of thing.
Yeah.
Um,
So this is... Sorry, keep interrupting you. The sequel, is it related to the first film?
no, it's literally another case in their
So
files.
you don't need to see
No.
Conjuring 1.
The only thing you need to know is that Ed and Lorraine Warren were ghost hunters. sort
Which
of
I'm
stuff.
sure they explain in Conjuring 2 anyway.
Yeah.
Okay, cool.
So what it does, it starts in Amityville actually. So they actually have a bit going on in Amityville, which is quite cool.
In America.
In America. So, because Ed and Lorraine went to the Amityville house and she had an experience there and she sort of, I guess she worked it out who the demon was that
Right.
told the guy to shoot his whole family. So that kind of...
I'm not even familiar with Amityville Horror, so
Okay.
is that what that is?
Yeah, well, there's some guy, he
Spoilers for Amityville Horror,
well,
however you
if
say
you don't
it.
know this is from the fucking 70s, so keep up.
Yeah, alright. Well, yeah.
Not
alright,
to you,
fair
but-
enough. No.
Um,
I must admit, I'm not actually that big on horror. Like, I've not seen
No.
a lot of horror, so...
Amityville, the original is dated for sure, but it's...
Yeah,
still
they
quite
remade
good.
that recently, didn't
Yeah,
they?
that was really... I watched that when I was like 12 or something stupid, so I was like
Yeah.
quite scared of it.
Okay.
Brian Reynolds, wasn't it? But no,
yeah.
Amityville is a guy murdered his whole family because he was told by... Well, they say he was possessed or he was hearing voices to kill his family.
Right.
And I think he kills himself. And then a family moves... Or the Lutz family, they're called. They, in real life, they moved into the Amityville house. And then they started experiencing weird stuff. And it all became a massive media thing. Was it real, whatever. I think the family, they just escaped the house and they were done with it.
I've got a tip for people, right? Real estate agents, more specifically. If you're trying to flog a house to someone and like the previous owners claim to have been possessed by demons or ghosts, probably just like tear the building down and build a new one, you know?
I don't know. It could still remain there. You don't know.
I don't understand how these things work.
But for actual people, if a house is super cheap when it should be out of your budget, someone's been murdered there.
Really?
Well, I don't know. I'm guessing.
Oh right, you just. I'm sorry. I thought you was giving me some like really real estate agents insider news.
Insight from me. No, but I'm sure that's if it's fucking cheap, someone was raped and murdered there. I can
raped
assure
and
it.
murdered.
That's what I'm going to say.
Both the boxes ticked then. Okay.
Anyway, so they deal with Amityville, and it kind of sets up one of the threats of the film. I won't say any more. And then it cuts to England, and it's a family, and basically the ghost in this house is someone who died previously. And
as ghosts usually are.
Yeah.
Someone that's died previously.
And he's like talking through the girl, stuff's happening, she's teleporting. It's just really creepy. Like, the best thing about The Conjuring is they actually care about horror films and making a good horror film.
Well, it's James Wan, isn't it? So
yeah.
He's always attached with these horror type things.
He's also attached to like Aquaman, and he's doing that or something. Or did he drop out of that?
Yeah, well, that's up in the air. But he's sort of synonymous with modern day horror now. It's very rare that a horror film comes out that he isn't like directing, writing, or producing. You know.
Yeah. But it's a well made film.
I've heard that.
Yeah, like it's really pretty. Like cinematography wise, they look nice. The scares are really effective. The music and the sound design are top notch because. Probably with horror films, sound design is probably the most important thing.
Yeah.
And it's I get very stressed when watching horror films in cinema. Like it's a stressful experience for me.
I've only done it once, and I think it's a film you're going to talk about later. So
okay.
Yeah, I've not got a lot of experience of watching horror in cinemas.
Yeah, I always go because I like it, but it is sometimes I can't watch the film.
Yeah.
And I don't have a problem with horror films at all. I love watching horror films, but just in cinema, it's just that added sort of thing I can't escape.
Too much.
Yeah. And at times in The Conjuring 2, I was like looking away, like.
Yeah.
I get quite verbal as well.
That's quite interesting that you're saying all this because I'm gonna, like I keep saying, we're gonna talk about this in a bit, but. It's interesting to know that it ain't just me that this happens to. Well, I thought there was something wrong with me when I watched this film.
No, I get very verbal and like criticise the characters. I'm like, why is she doing that? What the fuck? I'm looking around at other people in the cinema like,
why is she doing that? Why is he saying that? Why have I got piss in my trousers?
But yeah, it was a very good horror film. I quite like because it's Patrick Wilson and Vera Farmiga. I think that's her name.
When I see Patrick Wilson in the film, I just feel like I should be watching Will Arnett. You know?
Oh, they are similar.
They're very similar. They're almost the same person.
Not voice-wise.
Not voice-wise,
Will
but
Arnett's
like...
got a voice that...
I'd rather watch Will Arnett, to be honest. But yeah, sorry.
But no, like I said, really effective horror film. They actually care for the genre. Mm-hmm. They want to make a good film. It feels like an old 70s, 80s. Like, just from the way, like...
It's set in the 70s, isn't it?
Yeah. But just the way that the title comes on the screen, it's big, bold, yellow font that fills the whole screen.
Right.
And it folds, sort of lifts up above the screen.
Does it give it
like
that sort of old feel?
Yeah, it scrolls away and then it's like in 1970, blah, 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 the Enfield case. It's just, it feels like an old horror film and I think that's why they are doing really well.
Does it have jump scares?
Yeah, there are jump scares, but
that's not all there is.
No, they're good jump scares.
Yeah.
It's got standard sort of horror stuff in it, but just the way it's been shot and everything about it just seems it's
quality.
A different class.
Yeah. You're kind of selling this to me now because
I think you should watch them.
I sort of when a new Conjuring or an Insidious comes out, I'm like, whatever, I don't give a fuck.
Yeah, Insidious, I'm not that much of a fan of.
What else is there? Sinister, all that sort of stuff. I get confused with. I all sort of just jumble them all together. And these films come and pass me by, and I don't even realise that they're out. You know, I get so confused as to what one's what.
I think Conjuring's on Netflix. I think.
Oh, is it?
Yeah.
Okay.
So
I've got a question for you. That film Annabelle that came out a few years ago is that related to Conjuring or is that related to Sinister? Because I get confused.
It's Conjuring.
It's Conjuring.
So Annabelle was another case of the Warrens that they investigated.
So this is technically their third film.
No, it's because it came out. It was Conjuring 1. They introduced Annabelle in that.
Yeah.
And then Annabelle came out.
But I mean, they're in Annabelle, are they? These two characters?
No.
No, they're not. Okay.
No. Basically, the way it's introduced in The Conjuring is they have this room in their house that's filled with all their spooky shit that they've like collected over the years.
Right.
On like demonic things, and they keep in this safe room.
Yeah.
And Annabelle's in there, and they kind of introduce it a little bit through through that film.
So is Annabelle a prequel or a sequel to
It's a
Conjuring?
prequel, so it shows you how Annabelle...
why it's in that room.
And why the Warrens had to go take it.
Okay.
And they're actually doing the same thing with something in The Conjuring 2.
Yeah.
So one of the bad things is getting its own spin-off next. So it's like Conjuring 1, Annabelle, Conjuring 2, other thing. Conjuring 3, I guess.
Yeah. Yeah, why not?
It makes money, and I think they're good horrors. So
made crazy money. What you got the figures, haven't you?
I think it made 100 million on its first weekend in America.
And it has only had one weekend so far, as far as I know. So it's only going to make more money, you know?
Exactly.
It's already made triple its budget?
Yeah.
Almost triple?
40 mil, it was saying here. I mean, the IMDb is 8.1, Rotten Tomatoes is 76, Metacritic is 65%, but...
For modern day horror, that's pretty high.
Exactly. You don't get horror films getting near those numbers.
I must admit, the last horror film I saw was Insidious 1, I think. And I quite enjoyed that. Because that wasn't just jump scares, that was like a mix of that, but also like psychological shit that's going on.
Yeah.
It's very hard for a film to sort of scare me, but it's good to know that even if it doesn't scare me, Conjuring 2 is at least a good film in its own right, regardless of the scares.
Yeah.
So, what would you give Conjuring 2 out of 10?
I'll give it an 8.
Wow, that's pretty good. And I know coming from you, like, you know, it takes a lot for you to get an 8, to get an 8 out of you, you know? Most things are pony or they get thrown in the ocean.
While we're talking about horror, should we talk about my other one then? Because we were...
Yeah, we sort of teased it, didn't we? So, yeah.
So, a little bit older. A few years ago it came out, wasn't it?
Yeah.
I can't remember.
So...
But it was The Evil Dead remake.
The Evil Dead.
Yeah.
Which is the film that I mentioned. I saw that in the cinema.
And that was enough for you to never see a horror film in the cinema
Oh
again?
my God. Like...
Did you go with anyone or...?
I went with my mate and... I went in very cynically because I was excited. I was pumped for it because I liked Evil Dead 1 and 2. What's the other one?
Army of Darkness.
Army of Darkness.
Yeah.
Not so much. Like, I did appreciate it, but it's very different.
Yeah.
And I like the cabin in the woods thing that Evil Dead 1 and 2 had going for it. Army of Darkness is more of a sort of fantasy, crazy...
Does he go back in time or
type
something?
thing. Yeah. So I heard they were making this... They were redoing Evil Dead. And I was sort of like excited because I liked that version of Evil Dead where it's like cabin in the woods and they're doing the cabin in the woods thing.
Yeah.
But then on the other side of it, if you watch Evil Dead 1 and 2, there's like a charm to it because it's all sort of mostly practical and it's Sam Raimi doing independent,
sort of
slapstick and it's tongue in cheek, but it's also pretty horrible at the same time. A bit like Peter Jackson, Brain Dead.
Yeah.
What was the other name for Brain Dead? I can't remember. It had 2 names, but anyway. Yeah, so there's Brain Dead in here, in UK and New Zealand, and then, fucking hell, I can't remember what it's called in America. But it had that sort of vibe to it, like the sort of practical, cheap props, cheap but effective, gruesome, but, you know, you're loving it at the same time. Whereas this Evil Dead, like the remake, from what I remember, it gets rid of the charm of the humour and some of the practical stuff, and it replaces it with it's just gore fest. Like, it's just gore. What do they call it? Gore porn or whatever. Well,
there's torture porn. Then there's... Which I wouldn't say it's torture porn in a way, because that's more like Hostel.
And Saw. But this was nasty. You know, like Evil Dead 1 and 2, I know you haven't seen it, because we talked about it. But you can sort of like escape, because there's like the humour in there as well. Whereas the new Evil Dead remake, it was just wall-to-wall horror and blood and gore and... Yeah, you take it away.
I mean, I think the reason I liked it a lot was because it wasn't just like a remake.
Oh, you liked it?
Yeah, no, I really liked it. Did you like it?
See, I didn't like it because I had a very traumatic time watching it. I don't know if it was because of the film or, you know.
Yeah.
We'll get onto my experience of it. Go on.
Yeah. I just like the way they took the story. So it wasn't just 4 dumb kids going to a cabin to party, have sex, and do drugs. It was... They actually added a nice little sort of spin to it, and it was the girl that eventually gets possessed is going cold turkey because she's a drug addict.
Oh yeah, that's
so then when she does get possessed and she starts acting a bit weird, they think it's because she's going off her nut because she's not doing drugs.
I forgot about all that.
Which I think is a nice... Well, it's a good little twist on the story. It just adds that little thing for me. But all the actual effects of, like, you know, when she's got the knife and she's licking the knife and the tongue splits in half.
Yeah.
It is gruesome. It's horrible, but I think it's still, I think it's a good film. Like, I don't know, just.
I mean, in that respect, it does sort of carry on with the tradition of the first Evil Dead films, which it was about that. Oh, it's so horrible, but you can't look away. Sort of thing. Like in the first film, like a woman gets raped by a tree.
Yeah.
I can't remember if that happens in the remake.
Yeah, it does.
It does. Okay.
Yeah, which is horrible because it's quite graphic.
I just remember like got to a certain point, probably when all the crazy shit started happening and the real gory stuff started kicking off. And like you said, when you watched Conjuring, like I was very uncomfortable watching it in the cinema. It was quite close to the screen.
Yeah. There's no escape, really, is there?
And no, there's no escape. I was looking at the floor. I was looking at the stairs. I was and because it's so visceral, like the sound design of it and everything. Like even if you're not looking at it, you can pretty much put a picture in your head of what it is on the screen. And it was just so horrible. I remember feeling sick. I walked out and I went to the bathroom. And I never do that. I don't do that because I'm paying money to see the film. I'm not going to miss a single second of the film.
I never do that in horror films.
I actually wanted a break from the film, so I left. I just left.
Yeah.
I come back about 10 minutes later. Like, didn't go to the bathroom to do anything. I just wanted to get away from the film. And then I come back and I was like, oh god, it's still going. And then it's just her and like whatever else is happening. I don't really remember a lot of it because it's just a montage of red and screams and horrible stuff to me. I can't remember the story. I can't remember how it ends. I know if you keep watching the credits, Bruce Campbell shows up. And
does he?
He says, it's throwaway. It's just like, he just turns to the camera and goes, groovy.
Oh, nice.
That's it. And then now, obviously, they've moved away from that. I don't know if we're going to get a sequel to Evil Dead remake, but they did the TV show, which is Ash... No.
Versus the Dead.
Versus Evil Dead, which I haven't seen, but looks fantastic.
It's supposed to be really good.
It's out on DVD, I think, like later this year, sort of towards Halloween. Okay. I'm definitely going to pick that up because more of that, I'm up for, but like not this new version. No, it's too much. It's too much for me. At least in cinema. Maybe if I watched it now, but I just don't want to because the thought of watching it again makes me feel sick. Yeah. Like it's just too much. Too much.
See, that's maybe where I think you would probably be better with The Conjuring because there's not.
Yeah.
Like crazy amounts of violence.
I can deal with ghosts. I can deal with poltergeists and all that shit. Just like Evil Dead, man. It's very nasty. Like it's not just.
Yeah, I found what Brain Dead was called in America.
Oh right,
Dead Alive.
That's it. Yeah, Peter Jackson. Peter Jackson film.
Yeah, I've seen it. It was on like Channel or Film 4. Like
I really like that film. I've only seen that once, but it's so fucking weird.
Yeah.
But again, it's got that charm because it's like puppets and animatronics and practical effects, and they don't make things like that anymore.
It's a shame, isn't it?
Cool. What would you give Evil 10 out of 10? What would you give Evil Dead out of 10?
Out of 10, probably about 7. Just a story wise, I just like the little shift in what they did. It wasn't just a straight up let's rip off the original.
Yeah.
Although they had the same sort of beats happened.
Yeah.
I just like the little difference, and the violence and the gore was fucking realistic. It was hardcore, and I kind of like that sometimes.
I'm not going to rate it because I don't think it's fair because I didn't watch a chunk of it.
And you watched half the rest of it through your fingers.
Have you seen Cabin in the Woods?
Oh no.
Chris Hemsworth.
I added it to my Netflix to watch, and they removed it from Netflix, which is annoying. So I haven't bothered to.
If you can watch that because it's a nice little twist on the genre.
I've heard it's a good twist.
I mean, it goes a bit crazy towards the end, but it is set up from the beginning. So it's not like a third act twist that's just chucked in there to be different. It's like it's foreshadowed, so it's part of the film. Cool. What have I seen recently? Oh, the perfect complement to Evil Dead. Zootropolis.
Zootropolis. What the fuck is that?
It's the Disney talking animals live in a city.
I get confused with this because there's that.
There's loads of animal films that talk.
What's the other one? The fucking. Secret Life of Pets,
and then later this year we've got Sing, which is like X Factor but with animals.
Oh my god!
But Zootropolis, which looks like it's going to be better than any of those other films, so this is the only one worth watching. Zootropolis in America, Zootopia in America, Zootropolis here.
Why do they do this?
I get confused.
Why? What's the point?
I don't know why they changed it, but like they changed the name of the film, so in the film they've had to go and redub every time someone says Zootropolis or Zootopia to change it, and then every sign on the street they've changed that, and it's just like, why make work for yourself? You know?
Was there like a legal reason that to change the name?
I don't think so. I think they just thought, Zootropolis will play better in Europe or something. Ridiculous.
Some weird.
I think it's called something else in another country as well.
Really?
Like just a complete other name.
As you do.
I mean, it's proof that Disney are fast catching up Pixar in terms of their CG animations, like in terms of quality.
Yeah.
They had I think Bolt was one of the first ones that they did.
That was quite good.
That was good. What else did they add? I can't even remember now. But it feels like a Pixar film in terms of how much detail and effort has gone into it, and just how much depth it has. It's not just a kids' film. I'd say you get more out of it being an adult.
Which is the same with a lot of these.
It's
Disney,
traditional Disney. You know, there's jokes for the kids, but there's more jokes for the adults, and there's more social commentary. This film's about racism. This film's about drugs. This film's about crime. This film's about segregation. It's about the media manipulating people. It's about conspiracies. It's just all of this crazy shit, but it's talking animals that it goes through the filter of.
So who's in it? What are the voice cast?
I can't even remember.
Because I've not even watched the trailer for this. I know it exists, but
Jason Bateman is the voice of the fox in it. Yeah. Obviously from Arrested Development. I can't remember the name of the lady that does the bunny, but I thought it was Sandra Bullock for the whole film, and it turns out it was someone else. But I was like, oh, they do a very good Sandra Bullock impression.
I'm going to get it up.
There's lots of cameo voices. Yeah. Shakira does a voice. She does the song for the film. And I mean, on the surface, it's a very nice, colourful kids film. Lots of action, lots of jokes, lots of this, that, and the other. But there's just as much depth to it than any other film that you can find out there. If you're looking for it, Well, not even if you're looking for it, but obviously they don't say the word racism. But no. I mean, it's like they live in this city where all breeds of animal are coexisting, and basically all the hunter animals, all the predator animals, have become tame, and all their animal instincts have gone out the window. They're now able to socialise with what would be prey. Foxes can hang about with rabbits and there'd be no problem. Right. But then suddenly the predators start kidnapping and eating animals, the prey animals. Right. So it's what's that all about? And then there's because that's happening, maybe we're going to have to segregate or get rid of all the predator animals because they're not safe anymore. So it's that sort of segregation type, all that sort of stuff. And then it's becomes a us and them type sort of thing. My fucking computer. Oh, that's you. That's you dropping shit in my Dropbox.
Oh, sorry about that.
And then, so like I said, there's plenty of depth to it. It's presented well. It leaves you warm and fuzzy inside when you finished watching it.
Like all Disney should.
Yeah.
It's made $1 billion apparently.
Really?
That's what it says on
That
Google.
does not surprise me.
Idris Elba's in it.
Oh yeah, he's in it.
J.K. Simmons.
J.K. Simmons, yeah.
Have you seen how fucking jacked he is at the minute?
Yeah.
For Gordon.
Yeah.
Commissioner Gordon, I guess.
Yeah, I assume so, yeah.
Yeah, sorry, I just went off on
He
one.
looks mad.
He's fucking nuts. He's a big old beard as well, isn't he?
Yeah, man. I think he had the beard for something else, but he's kept it for some reason.
Commissioner Gordon's pretty hench in the comic and the Arkham games anyway.
Yeah, it depends on what version you read or see of him, yeah.
Sorry, continue.
That's right. But yeah, Zootropolis or Zootopia, whatever you want to call it, I would give it 9 out of 10.
Yeah.
I mean, there's no reason why it can't be a 10 out of 10, apart from maybe...
We don't want to be that nice.
Yeah, I want maybe a bit more humour, maybe some more jokes. Some of the jokes fall a bit flat. Yeah. That'll knock it away from a 10 out of 10. But I'd recommend it to anyone. Everyone should go watch Zootropolis, Zootopia, whatever it's fucking called. Go watch it. I think it's on DVD soon anyway. Yeah. Had a very long run in the cinema. That's how I was able to catch it, because they just kept it showing every day. There was at least one showing of it, even for 3 months after it came out. What else is on your list? We'll move on.
Oh, let me find my list, sorry. Oh, X-Men.
X-Men Apocalypse?
Apocalypse.
Okay.
Yes, indeed.
So, in the previous episode, I sort of bashed the X-Men series a little bit. I'm not that interested anymore.
No, and I'm...
Is Apocalypse going to change my mind?
Probably not.
No?
More of the same.
That's a shame.
Yeah, it's more of the same. It was alright. But I also thought Days of Future Past was alright. It wasn't anything to shout about, but...
There wasn't much depth to that, but it was nice to watch.
Yeah.
It was a good X-Men film.
I don't really know what a good X-Men film is, because I don't care that much about X-Men.
Well, yeah.
So, I'm not... I just see it as, alright, cool. Wolverine turns up for a bit. hack some people.
These are the films you watch in between the Marvel and the DC films, isn't it? Really,
Yeah, I
like the
suppose.
proper Marvel ones.
Yeah. I mean, there was. I don't really like Apocalypse. I think he's probably a good baddie in the comic,
But in this, he's a bit.
but in the film, I was
Shit.
just like, all right. Well, if he's supposed to be a god, how are you going to beat him?
Yeah.
They do, obviously.
Maybe they shouldn't have. Maybe
Yeah, maybe they would have. It would have been better if like he disappeared and maybe he comes back somehow stronger and fucks them all up and ends the X-Men franchise for good. But,
ends it, or like maybe sets up another film where like they've got to reclaim Earth from him. You know, it'd be nice to have one of these films end on a low point for the heroes for a change.
Problem is with X-Men as well, because there's so many mutants.
Yeah, it's too much in this one.
Them,
yeah,
and then
they do nothing with them.
Yeah, they kill them off.
I heard there's Olivia Munn, Psylocke.
Yeah,
she's got like swords and shit.
Yeah,
if you don't know her character.
Basically, Apocalypse approaches them all, makes them evil by giving them like they're already sort of bad characters in a way. They're like they're working for someone bad or they're
well, Magneto's one of them for a start.
Yeah,
so.
he comes in a bit later. But like when he's like grouping them to start with, there's like one guy who's he's fighting in a cage. He's the one with the wings. I can't remember his name.
Oh,
like
Archangel or something like that.
But he's fighting, and then Thingy approaches him and says, "Oh, I'll make you bad." He makes his wings like metal instead of feathers, so he gives them some sort of benefit,
right,
to them joining. And then they're like, "All right, sweet, I'll join him," and then they just kill him off. And like you'd think X-Men, they've got all of these mutants and characters and stuff in the comic, and they just, I don't know, maybe they just don't want to do anything with them. And just
try to do too much.
Yeah, I think so. Wolverine's in it for a bit, obviously. I swear,
you can't not have him in it.
Yeah, I know. Yeah. Like, I think they're just worried that if they don't put Wolverine in, people are just gonna be like, "Nah, never mind."
Like that final trailer, the one we saw in the cinema, a few weeks ago, they couldn't help but put that bit in. They could have just left it secret.
That's his only scene as well.
Yeah, no, I know.
So that was a bit annoying on retrospect that they actually put that in the trailer.
The only reason I think that exists is so that they can set up that post-credit sting, which I have seen because obviously I work at a cinema and I have to wait for everyone to get out so I can clean the screen or whatever. Yeah. And I've watched that end credit scene like a dozen times.
I read about it online. It's
so it sets up.
You have to be well into X-Men to know what was going on. I think
apparently it sets up the X-Force film that they want to do or something. Someone walks away with his DNA basically, so they can do another Wolverine, give it to someone else.
I don't know. I just think X-Men just is not on the. Marvel should have control of it and let them do what they want with it.
I can't remember if I said this.
We probably have
when we talked about it, but I feel like they should just reboot it and fold it into Marvel. Fold it into the Marvel stuff like they did with Spider-Man. Just sort of let them have. Fox can make their X-Men films, but they'll be part of the MCU and they'll be rarer. You know, not every other year as it seems to be now. What is your biggest gripe with X-Men Apocalypse?
It just wasn't nothing special. The action was all right. The effects were all right. Again, Quicksilver was probably the best thing about it. But that's like one scene.
Yeah.
I don't know. It was just an all right film. Like, there's nothing I could really say that was bad about it, but nothing really that made me that.
Maybe that
happy.
Maybe that's the biggest crime when it's like one of the last films in that series apparently, and it's called X-Men Apocalypse, and it just turns out it was all right.
Yeah.
Like, you know.
Yeah.
And how many films has it had to set this up like beforehand? Seems like this Apocalypse
It's the seventh
plot's
one?
just come out of fucking nowhere.
Yeah.
Like, if they'd have sort of teased it in 5 films ago or something like, you know, an Avengers type thing, maybe then it would have more weight to it. But as it is, it just sort of seems like, we'll just do Apocalypse this time.
Yeah.
Oh, and then the Apocalypse is dealt with, you know.
Yeah.
What next? What did you like about it, if anything?
Probably the Quicksilver scene. I think Quicksilver was the best thing about it.
Yeah.
Same with Days of Future Past. His little sequence in that. I thought that was good.
He's none of this sort of makes sense because it's like set in the 80s. One before this was set in the 70s, and then one before that was set in the 60s. None of them are aging. Like
no, and also, Magneto is his dad.
Yeah, that's in the comics.
That's in the comics, but they don't say that in the film. I'm sure they didn't say that in Days of Future Past.
They hinted at it in Days of Future Past. Like there was a line where Quicksilver said something about his dad wasn't around or something, and then you get the idea that Magneto realizes that this guy is his kid, but it's sort of like played as a joke rather than like as an actual plot point.
Well, this one, the reason Quicksilver comes back is because he wants his dad's approval. He wants to tell his dad that he's his son, and then it's like all little jokes here and there about it, and then don't worry about it, can't be asked.
Oh,
and I don't know if you. if you're not into the comics, I don't think you really care with the X-Men films. I think you have to be involved.
Or just not care in general and just go to watch these films,
maybe.
with your brain at home and not worry about it too much.
Yeah.
I suppose that's the best way to enjoy these films.
Probably. I'll give it a 6.
6?
Yeah.
Yeah. I liked First Class, and I liked Days of Future Past for some bits, but overall, like, I just don't care. Like,
No.
I'm sorry. Like, I love the Marvel films. I love the MCU. I love Spider-Man. I love Batman. I love Superman. I love all these other superheroes. Just don't give a shit about the X-Men that much.
I think there's just too many of them, isn't there?
Yeah, and it's like, oh, we're special because he can do this and he can do that. But oh no, wait, there's millions of you, so you're not really that special, are you? Oh, you're like 0.5% of the world's population. I'm like, oh, right, okay.
It doesn't have that one well, people probably argue that Professor X is that one central figure, but
I mean, Wolverine is, but only because
but
he's popular, not from a story standpoint.
Yeah, they just have to put Wolverine in because
there's a reason
it's fucking Wolverine.
Well, yeah, there's a reason we have Wolverine spin-off films because he's the draw, but he isn't the central character. Like he's only in First Class for like a scene.
Yeah. And
then he's only in it for a scene for this as well. So it's like it's not even his story. It's just a general sort of, these are the X-Men. Look at them do their crazy X-Men things, like it's not like you should be invested because of this and because of that. And
the next X-Men film is supposed to be R-rated, isn't it?
The Wolverine film.
Wolverine, sorry.
Yeah. Yeah, probably. I think
I read that it's supposed to be R-rated.
Why not?
Which maybe we get to see some violence. I think they've seen that Deadpool was successful.
I just don't care. They could rate it 18. I don't care. Just stop
it.
I
wouldn't mind seeing Wolverine one last time hacking people to shit and then be done with it.
I'd like to see him in the yellow costume.
Yeah, that'd be cool.
Do that, and then I'll be like, right, cheers, guys, I'm off. That'll satisfy me. They'll probably make Deadpool until it degenerates into straight to DVD sort of.
Yeah.
They're not going anywhere anytime soon. Fantastic Four was apparently going to be connected to this at one point, but
X-Men?
Yeah, it was going to be part of a shared universe, but they've dropped that obviously because Fantastic Four is pony, as you would say. But yeah, all right, 6 out of 10. I've still yet to see it. I'm going to see it, but I'll probably wait like you were going to do with a lot of things, like just wait on Netflix, wait for it to come on Netflix or something.
Your guide to cinema etiquette from the Countdown Movie and TV Reviews podcast. Question 17. When choosing a seat at a largely empty movie cinema, do you
A. Sit directly in front of another person. B. Sit right alongside a couple clearly enamored with one another. Or C. Take a seat away from other patrons that affords you a good view. If you answered A or B, fuck you!
For more useful cinema etiquette, join Paul and Wayne on the Countdown Movie and TV Reviews podcast at Podomatic on iTunes or your favorite podcast app.
Hey guys, it's Eric and Aaron.
Have you ever just thought, what if this happens?
We like to discuss those questions for and with you.
We run the What If This Happens podcast.
If this sounds like something you'd enjoy listening to, go to whatifthishappens.net and join us in the conversation through email, Twitter, or Facebook once every 2 weeks.
If you do, follow us. We're mostly on Twitter. You can follow us at what_if_podcast for updates. And if you'd like to support us, go to patreon.com/with.
Thank you, Moviesaurus Rex, and thank you, listeners out there. Also, go join us in support of Moviesaurus Rex at patreon.com/Moviesaurus Rex podcast.
Or I'll take your shoe.
Hi everyone, it's Christopher Walken here. Just wanted to tell you about an exciting podcast I've been listening to lately.
This is Christopher Walken in the studio with the Jupiter Boys.
It is, and it's called the Jupiter Boys, and it's two brothers. They get together with topics and they
Every
talk
week
about them. It's pretty extraordinary.
So if you want to hear amateur Christopher Walken impressions as well as random topics every week, please tune in.
The Jupiter Boys.
Yeah, please tune in to the Jupiter Boys with Jim Jupiter and Quinn Jupiter, who spontaneously channels Christopher Walken.
iTunes, Stitcher, everywhere.
I saw the other day Independence Day. Not the new one, not Resurgence, but the old one with Will Smith in it.
Yeah.
Bought it on Blu-ray. It's a nice restored version.
Yeah.
Couldn't tell the difference. It still looked like it was made in 1997. Having said that, like the visual effects or special effects for that time were amazing, and they still look good to watch
I think
today.
they do, yeah.
Didn't need to restore it really, like for whatever that did to it. I just watched it because I'm excited for the new one. Really, the new one looks amazing. Proper popcorn blockbuster summer movie with Jeff Goldblum. So win-win. Always like my Alien films. Not a lot to say about this really. I just thought I'd drop it in because I have seen it. Still holds up. I'd say if you're hesitating to go watch it again, just fucking do it.
Yeah. It's one of those films that I had as a kid, like recorded from TV.
Oh yeah.
You usually watch it every so often.
Yeah.
Then I think I bought it on DVD when it came out. It's like a special edition thing. But
it's one of those ones that, like, if it's on TV, I'll just leave it on. I'll just start watching it.
Yeah.
But that means I've seen the end of it like 100 times, and then the beginning of it barely any.
Yeah.
Like the opening scenes were playing out, and I was like, I don't remember this. I don't remember this. I don't remember this. Like it felt like a whole new movie watching it this time. My favourite bit is I got two favourite bits. I got Randy Quaid.
Randy, yeah.
Flying his helicopter, flying his airplane up the UFO's arse, and he's like, "Oh boys, I'm back." And that's only because I've watched the National Lampoon's films and his cousin Eddie. So I like sort of in my mind, I sort of think they're the same character. That's how cousin Eddie met his end. And they live in a trailer, so it's like you know, it's almost exactly the cousin Eddie character. And then the other bit, obviously, the president's speech. Like, I'm not American. I don't celebrate Independence Day, but that fucking speech is like
it's good.
Gets me like welled up. Like
same with in the new one, the trailer though. The speech seems like another good.
Yeah. Oh, they got him back for that as well, haven't they? Yeah. So and he's like, "Well, we'll not go quietly into the night. Today, July 4th will no longer be a day for independence, but a day that we stood up and you know all that business. I like that. Yeah. Yeah. Great.
And Will Smith.
Will Smith, yeah, okay.
What's the line he says when he punches the alien in the face?
Welcome to Earth. What else does he say?
I don't know.
He's got a couple of other. Jeff Goldblum's brilliant.
And the guy that says David.
Him and his dad.
David.
It's the guy from Mrs. Doubtfire who does the mask.
Yeah.
David, I gotta call my mother. Oh my God, David.
There you go. That's my impression for the day.
Filled the quota, chick.
But yeah, Will Smith's in it. Great. Am I sad that he's not in the new one? Don't really care.
I was a little bit when they first announced it. I was like,
I feel like
Jeff Goldblum was there. Will Smith, come on, mate.
But Jeff Goldblum's in this one, and he's like he was my main draw for the first film. Like I like Jeff Goldblum in anything, like The Fly, Jurassic Park, doesn't matter.
Yeah.
Like he's the big draw. I'm just glad they got him back. It looks like they've set up why Will Smith isn't in this one. Like it looks like his character dies and then his son carries on in his place. Fine. The president's back. Great.
So's the doctor or the scientist guy with all the long hair.
Oh yeah, he's in it. Yeah,
that weird one.
Yeah,
he's the one who gets like taken over in the
spoilers. Yeah,
spoilers.
Yeah,
a film that's fucking 30 years old.
Oh no! I thought you meant in the new one he gets taken over.
Oh
no, he doesn't. No, he's in the old one.
I think that's the president in this new one. I saw in a trailer.
Spoilers.
I've seen the trailer. Though, so. Blame the trailer.
Some people don't watch the trailers, Tom. Some people go blind.
Well, if they don't watch trailers,
some people go to the cinema and they don't even know what they're going to go see. These are the real mavericks of the world. I'm just going to show up and just watch whatever's on in the next 15 minutes. Crazy.
The people that don't watch trailers certainly don't listen to fucking movie podcasts.
It's true. Yeah. Okay. Fair enough. Yeah, no, you hit the nail on the head there. I'm just going to spoil everything. I don't give a fuck.
No, I'm quite excited for it. The trailer, the first trailer that came out, I was like, fuck.
Yeah,
okay, this is all right.
The scale of everything just looks epic.
But the scene when the cars are just driving through the desert, and then you've got like the scene of like they're all obviously like reverse engineering the technology to make us stronger. Yeah, no, I think it's done well to save this sequel.
For now,
with the time, difference, because I think it actually adds to the story, and
it's surprising that there wasn't a sequel straight away. You know, because it seems like the sort of thing that would have got like we would have been on our 5th Independence Day by now. You know?
I mean, it could have easily been that way, but I like the fact that they didn't, which is weird. Yeah, definitely weird. But
I think the plan is to do a third one shortly after this.
Well, that would be fine.
I think this one's going to end on a cliffhanger. Just putting that out there because I think he might have even filmed them both back to back. I can't even remember.
I don't know. I've read about it.
Roland Emmerich's definitely planned, like, to it for at least to be 3 parts anyway.
I hope it does well. 'Cause
Yeah.
I think
I love alien invasion films.
Yeah.
We don't really get that many of them now, do we? Not decent ones anyway. Not
the last
high
one
quality.
I could think of was fucking. Was it Skyline or some shit like that?
Yeah, I watched that. That was terrible. What was the last one? There was one not too long ago. I guess Cloverfield sort of counts as something like that. Depends on what your interpretation of the monster is. Did it come from space or is it something we made? You know,
True.
Who knows? Independence Day. How can I not give it a 10? It's just one. It's just one of those things that like
It is one of those films for us anyway that we watched as a kid.
Yeah.
That you watch over and over again.
Interestingly, I don't even have that much nostalgia for it because I think I discovered it when I was about 13, something like that, for the first time I watched it. So, like, you've got the nostalgia. I've not got that much nostalgia for it, but like, it's very much a product of the 90s. It's like, and it's that tipping point where you can sort of see the blockbuster becoming this spectacle, CG-filled fest. Even though there's not actually that much CG in the film. It is sort of practical with green screen and this, that, and the other.
But the scale of it still is.
Yeah. And it looks like, I mean, we're just going by trailers again, but it looks like the next one is going to be for visual effects what the last one was for visual effects. Like, it sort of looks like this one's going to push it again, you know? Which sounds strange to say because, you know, there's so many things that use CG now, but it feels like this one's just as good looking for today as that one was for then. Yeah. Does that make sense?
I mean, Roland Emmerich he's pretty much the king of destroying the world.
And he's taken
and cities and
he's taken that little subgenre that he's carved out for himself with, like, you know, 2012 and all that, and he's turned this Independence Day into the next sort of one of those films, but riding on the Independence Day brand, you know?
Which is a better use of his skill, I guess.
If he just makes Independence Day films from now till whenever, be fine with that.
I'm excited for it.
Yeah, I am.
I would have thought they would have released it on Independence Day, though.
Yeah, that seems strange.
Seems like maybe things aren't open on Independence Day.
You need to. Is Memorial Day weekend the weekend before? Because that's the box office weekend that most films want to capture. So if it's out just before, the buzz will build, and then that'll be its first proper weekend where it's out and able to do the big money. Yeah, maybe. I think that's probably the spin. Anyway,
America got.
But yeah, it should have
weird
come
holidays.
out. Should have come out July 4th, really, shouldn't it? But I suppose they're thinking lots of people will be with their families or at barbecues and stuff, and they're not going to want to go to the cinema and watch something.
Things might be closed. We don't know.
We don't understand these independent things.
Yeah, Americans have weird holidays.
I mean,
I want Thanksgiving.
Yeah, I want Thanksgiving.
It's like a pre-Christmas meal.
We have Black Friday now, though, so I suppose we get the best bit of Thanksgiving in a way.
Yeah, we get a fucking cheap TV.
Yeah.
Even cheaper.
Yeah. And then we have bonfire night. That's when we have fireworks. They have fireworks on July 4th. So I suppose we have our own versions of everything. But weirdly enough, they have Mother's Day and Father's Day on different days too.
Which is very confusing because people I've seen on Facebook, oh my god, it's Mother's Day in 3 days.
And I'm like, oh shit!
What?
Why didn't my local superstore warn me of this with copious amounts of advertising? Anyway, Independence Day, 10 out of 10, why not?
Fuck it, yeah.
I can't.
Will Smith, Goldblum, Aliens.
There's a contingent of people that really dislike Independence Day, but I don't see why. Like, if you dislike it, you just dislike big films in general. You know?
Yeah, you just must have a problem with blockbusters. Fuck you guys.
Yeah, fuck you. You shouldn't be listening to this podcast. What you watched recently?
Oh,
again,
mate, I've done my list now.
You done it?
Yeah, no, I can't actually remember. I can try and.
You watched 2 films.
We could have maybe a couple of minutes of silence where I try and remember.
We should have a couple of minutes of silence for the people that lost their lives in the great conflict between aliens and humans in 1997.
All right, sweet. You do that. I'll think of what I've watched.
I'll just overlay the president's speech again, but like in a sort of very slowed down, eerie fashion.
Okay, you do that. Starting from now.
We will not go quietly into the night. July 4th. That's that bit. I'll talk about what I've seen.
Oh, you got another one? I thought we were done.
I've got 2 more. How much time have we done so far?
45.
Right. I'll just do 1.
All right, we'll save the other one. Shoot.
So recently, last week, I purchased, in a very good deal that HMV was doing, 3 Blu-rays for £20. I'm going to snap that up. I got Moon.
Ooh.
Duncan Jones.
Good one.
I could talk about that, but I'm not going to. Do you want me to talk about it?
No.
No? Fuck it. There Will Be Blood. which we've already talked about.
Oh, yeah.
I bought that on Blu-ray because I was like, that was brilliant.
Yeah.
Could have watched that again. And then I bought Steve Jobs.
Oh, okay.
Which is not the Ashton Kutcher one that they did.
What was that called? That was just Jobs.
That was called Jobs. This is the Michael Fassbender as Steve Jobs one, directed by Danny Boyle with a script from Aaron Sorkin.
Yeah.
I actually watched it last year when it was in the cinemas. It was like one of my favourite films of last year.
Yeah.
But we haven't talked about it properly, so I felt like
I've not seen it.
Discuss it now. If you're going to watch one of the two Steve Jobs biopic films, this is the one to watch.
That's as much as I know, and it didn't do too well.
Didn't do well at the box office.
Yeah.
I think critically it's
yeah.
done well.
Yeah.
But it's one of those things that like it's a crime that not enough people went to see it. When you think how popular Steve Jobs is as a public figure and everyone uses his products pretty much, like this is like the story of him and Apple as we know it to be today, basically. It takes place before 3 different press conferences that happen throughout his life. So the first one is when he's about to launch it's one of the Macintosh computers.
Is it like the Apple One?
It might be it might be in the Mac, the original Mac or something. This was before Apple was massive. I mean, they were big, but like not what they nowhere near what they are now. So it follows that, and it's just like the leading up 45 minutes to the press conference, and then there's that, and then it skips ahead to when he's been sacked from his company, from Apple, and he's started his own company called Next, and he's bringing out a brand new computer, and it turns out the computer that he's unveiling doesn't actually exist. It's just literally a shell. Like he's got the outside box, and he's sort of fibbing about what it's going to have on the inside, to drum up pre-orders and stuff, and then he's going to develop the box to bring it out. It's basically his big fuck you to Apple. Yeah. And then because of like how well that came across, he got his old job back at Apple. So then the third part of the film is him pre-press conference as he's about to unveil the iMac, which I think is like it's the old iMac, you know, like the one that was like
the colourful back one. Isn't
it had like the see-through blue sort of casing to it, and you could get it in lots of different colours, and that basically.
So it's set still quite a while ago then.
Yeah, no, yeah.
I thought it kind of. I liked the way they set the film up, like the 3 different stories, or before the conferences.
Yeah,
I like that when I heard about it, but I thought it actually went.
Yeah, I thought it
like
was
going
to. Yeah, exactly. That's what I thought, but I mean, it obviously tells the story of the rise of Apple, but then it also tells like his personal story, his relationship with his daughter, his ex-wife or ex-girlfriend, him and Steve Wozniak, like the other guy that sort of helped him develop.
Seth Rogen in this one. Isn't it?
Yeah, he's really good in it as well. Yeah, it's not comedic at all. No. It's just he's just shows that Seth Rogen can actually act. Like,
I'd like to see that actually.
Like everyone in this film is fantastic. Even the secondary characters are brilliant.
Yeah.
Which I don't know. That's down to the actors, but also Aaron Sorkin just writes great dialogue no matter what your part is in the film.
Yeah.
It's really witty. Like you laugh a lot. It's impactful dramatically where it needs to be. It's basically Steve Jobs balancing his career with and being the difficult person that he was allegedly. I can't say personally, obviously, but and he's arguing or debating with about 6 different people throughout these 3 different periods in his life, which I think is why it sort of only led up to that period in his life, because that by then I assume everything had been resolved between all these different people. It's somewhat true to life. Like he did have these discussions with these people, but they didn't all happen 40 minutes before each press conference. That's like the sort of liberties that they've taken when writing the script and making the film. On paper, it's just people talking to each other and arguing, but in delivery, like it's Danny Boyle, everything has a stylistic and visual flair to it. It's quite a long film, but it doesn't feel very long because of just how energetic everyone is and how sucked in you are with every conversation that happens. Yeah. It's hard not to say nothing but good things about this film. Like there isn't anything that really stands out that I dislike about it. Apart from the fact that not enough people saw it, really. Like, maybe the marketing should have been more spot on with it. I can't stress how big a deal this film is for me. Like, how I feel like everyone should go see it. Like, if you like The Social Network...
Yeah, which I loved.
It basically did for Apple what Social Network did for Facebook, you know? And obviously it's Aaron Sorkin, so it's the same screenwriter.
Yeah.
It's got exactly that same amount of wit, drama...
intelligence.
Exactly. And it's intelligent enough without losing you, you know? Like, I'm not the most intelligent person, obviously, listen to me speak, but I don't feel lost when I'm listening to these people back and forth. These geniuses talking to each other. Like you don't get lost in it. Like I don't know how much of it was filled in by the fact that I'd seen the Ashton Kutcher film before, so I sort of understood what they were referencing when they said about certain things, certain events in his life and stuff. I sort of understood it because the Jobs film, the Ashton Kutcher one, was a very sort of like, you know, A, B, C, D, E biopic where it's just like him young all the way up to pretty much when he died. Whereas this one, it sort of like skips about a bit and it only tells 3 different periods in his life, really, or 4 technically, because there's like a flashback sequence. But yeah, like great biopic, or whatever you want to call it. Feels like it should be in a box set with Social Network, and then I don't know what other third film you'd probably put that in with, like some other sort of success story. Even if you know nothing about Apple or you don't give a shit about Apple products, like it's just a great film. It's not the Steve Jobs puff piece because it does paint him as a very complicated, at times hard to like character. It doesn't shy away from that. It's not the sort of, oh, what a genius maverick guy he was. It was like, he was a genius, but he was also an asshole to some people, at least from the film's perspective anyway. I'm not saying this in real life because obviously I don't know what really happened, but it's not a puff piece for this character. It is like warts and all type sort of story. And yeah, Seth Rogen's great in it. Jeff Daniels is in it. He's great. Kate Winslet's in it. She won the Oscar, I think.
Yeah, I think she did.
Supporting actress for that. Who else is in it? There's loads of people in it. Like, just like little roles that you sort of blink and miss it. But yeah, this is a 10 out of 10. Like, there's no contention. Like, I'm not hesitating to give it a 10 out of 10. Go fucking watch it. It's so cheap on DVD already. Like, because barely anyone saw it.
Yeah. Which is a shame because, like you said, it isn't in the same sort of realm as Social Network. And everyone was like, "Oh, what the fuck? I'm gonna go watch a film about the Facebook for."
Yeah,
like, but it was amazing.
Yeah, and that is exactly what this is. This is the same treatment.
It's a shame it didn't have the same success as Social Network.
And I can only put that down to maybe the marketing or the fact that we've already had one Steve Jobs film and people sort of felt like, oh, don't care, you know, like.
But I can't imagine a lot of people seeing the Ashton Kutcher one.
No.
Who knows?
But if you've got to watch one or the other, I'd say watch it. I wouldn't say don't watch the Ashton Kutcher one because they are very different. It's not as good in terms of quality, but it does sort of. The Ashton Kutcher one does give you a more sort of full picture of what his full life was like, rather than just a small segment. It does fill in some blanks that maybe you have watching Steve Jobs. So it gives it some context at least. Something to sort of build upon. But yeah. Check out Steve Jobs. I don't know what more I can say about it, really.
I do want to watch it.
I think that about wraps us up, really.
Yeah, because we don't have any news, like we said.
Yeah, we don't have any news.
Nothing has come out, really, that we could talk about.
I mean, nothing major that I think people care about. Like, there's been nothing today.
News.
By the time this comes out, you know, it might be a week from now anyway. So the news won't be news anymore. It'll be old news, and then what's the point?
I'm stretching, Hooch.
All right.
A real good stretch.
Good stretch.
Sorry.
I just noticed your hoodie says only USA. What does that mean?
It's just a brand.
Is it a brand?
Yeah. If we've got listeners in New York, then they might know the shop.
Okay.
But the brand is only New York.
You went in a shop called Only, and then it's in New York.
Yeah.
So I'm guessing there's like an Only Los Angeles and Only Tokyo
or
or something?
They're just New York now.
Okay.
Yeah.
Only New York, literally.
Only.
It's exactly what it says it is.
Only. Yeah.
There's no fucking about.
It says USA on my one, but...
Oh, yeah. Yeah, okay, sorry. Yeah.
Oh, dear.
You didn't get you should have got the New York one.
Well...
Go back. Go back and get it. I suppose there's only one thing left to do on this episode, and that is plug our Patreon. We've got some patrons, some lovely people that are willing to like.
We've roped them in, so who else wants it?
And they have access to our almost 3.5 hour long Alien special, where we talk about Alien 1, Aliens, Alien 3, Alien Resurrection even, Prometheus, and then we talk about the Prometheus sequel, Alien Covenant, and then we talk about what we want to do with Alien franchise. If we had the keys, we pitch our own ideas. It's just crazy, and it's our first recording, so it's a bit rough, but it's interesting for some people to listen to how the show's progressed, I suppose. Hopefully progressed, anyway. More like regressed. But so they have access to that, and then I've reached out to them, and I've said, like, you know, give us requests for things that you want to hear us talk about. So they're going to get something specially tailored just to them. I'm not saying it's going to happen for everybody, but obviously I'll put like opportunities for people up to vote and have a say in what they want us to talk about exclusively to them. So yeah, just letting you guys know there's more coming on the Patreon front.
Yeah. What he said.
But yeah, like all the money that we get from the Patreon, it's going to go back towards the show, making it sound better.
Is it not going towards my massive heroin addiction? That's what I thought it was for. I needs it, man.
I see you grinding your teeth over there, tapping your arm. But yeah, basically all funds go towards making the show better for you guys again. So it's like, you know, it's cyclical. It's a symbiotic relationship. With your help, we'll make the show better, making it better for you. So there you go.
Do it.
Do it. But yeah, that's my plug on the Patreon page that we have. Just go to www.patreon.com/MoviesaurusRexPodcast. I think that works. I should probably test it. But if you go on our Twitter, there's a link to it on there, at MRexPodcast. If you want to ask us a question, give us a suggestion for future episodes, just send us a tweet at MRexPodcast. And I think that's pretty much all our plugs out of the way. And I guess we'll wrap up this episode.
Yeah. Wrap it up.
Yeah. Yeah, I can tell you're really, really infused for this show right now. Okay. Thank you for listening, and we'll see you again on the next episode. Hopefully it won't be as long a break. And thank you.
Thanks.
Bye.
Bye.